What else can we say about this?
I think we've said.
I had about 3 complaints. I think they may have been addressed. One we talked about was Sarah Silverman.
Yeah.
I felt she was quite obnoxious, and her scenes just kind of took me away from the movie.
She was obnoxious,
Yeah.
but she was harmless.
Like,
She
was
wasn't like Jar Jar
detrimental.
level obnoxious.
It didn't really take it out of the movie that much. I mean, yeah, I can see there were some scenes like that, but for the most part, it was more good than bad. It didn't take away from the overall experience.
The second thing is, as you sort of mentioned with the fact that they only did like 3 or 4 games. I felt like with this game being the kind of thing it was that, you know, with game jumping, you would take a little more advantage of that. But they, like we said, they only went into about 3 games, and it felt like once we got to Sugar Rush, it pretty much stayed there for a good majority of the movie.
Oh yeah.
And
I guess there's only so many games that they could get the rights to.
yeah, but I felt like, and it kind of goes into, I had been afraid of this, was that they were essentially, most of the other video game references are pretty much, anything that you see in the promos, for the most part, are all at the beginning of the movie. So they're pretty much there to get you into the movie, and then you're stuck.
Yeah, I mean, they did kind of have like all those big name characters there purely for cameos, just to show, yeah, these are what all the famous, you know, characters do on their time off and everything. This is what everyone wants to see. And true, like none of them are integral to the story aside from like the main characters.
But I felt like because we spent so much time in one game, we could have had a little more. We could have maybe had more references to other games. We could have had, you know, something come in. But like I said, for the most part, we were in Sugar Rush.
Well, that's what the sequel is for.
And then there's the problem of Jane Lynch's character.
Really?
I felt like she was very underutilized. And
she was and she wasn't.
it's like you have her as one of the main 4 characters. I feel like she should be getting more involved than she was.
I think it's only because the fact that that 20 minutes or so that we forget about the whole cyberbug thing, that she kind of like disappears for a while.
But I felt like I felt like that was one point at which the creators dug themselves into a hole.
I think the big problem is the fact that she was a more modernized gaming character. Like she had actual weapons. She had, you know, more capabilities. You know, obviously, if she had been in Ralph's position, went straight on, she probably would have just shot up the place and demanded her stuff, and they would have handed it to her because, I mean, it's just a racing game. They really have no weapons against her. So I guess,
except for like ice cream and
then there's another thing with the when we first get introduced to Vanellope, you see like Ralph is climbing that candy cane tree thing, and they make this whole point of, oh, there's the double striped ones will crack apart, the double tree branches. I'm like, why bother to have that if it's a racing game?
I guess it's one of those mini games because they say they do have
That's
mini
true.
games.
they do have mini games like the create your own car, you know,
Like
meet and greet.
Yeah, I mean, true, it doesn't really come up as any major plot point aside for when Jane Lynch and Felix do show up and fall trap to that.
I think we're looking into this a little too much, maybe because I mean, it's just a little. It's just a thing that's part of the world. I mean, so
it just felt like when it first happened, and I'm like, I'm even noticing this as it's, you know, you see the game for what it is. You see that it's a racing game, so you know that once you get there, it's like, okay, it's going to be a racing game.
I've played racing
And
games
then-
where like items where
yeah.
you crash into stuff and things fall apart.
Yeah, but on the other hand, why would they if you're climbing a tree? That doesn't seem like it has much place
I think
in
it's maybe
a
it's
racing
what,
game.
I think it's maybe what.
But yeah, I mean,
what
that-
Cat T Critic was pointing out.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's a mini game.
Yeah, because they do
I'll
show
give
that
you
they,
that. I
you know,
will give you that.
they do show that they have a mini game where they build their own racers and everything. Maybe like the candy thing is just to receive like bonus coins and stuff. Hence why the medal ended up at the top of the tree. You know, like, and then they obviously need coins in order to enter the race. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
Perhaps.
That's just my theory.
It's open to interpretation, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on that. Everything else worked for me.
In regards to like them going to more games, I think they could have passed it off if like the part where he's trapped in the escape pod and it sends him zooming around the mainframe, he ends up going into a whole bunch of other games.
Yeah, that would
unintentionally.
have been a good idea. Like they wouldn't even have to do like a whole thing. It would just be like a few seconds of each, you know.
Like he
guess- I
goes
guess
through
we
one
don't-
game, he comes out, then he goes through another game, and he comes out.
I guess to have like 7 different graphics for 7 different games would probably be very taxing for.
I don't know. In the way I see it, it's like, and perhaps the adding of the other, video game characters was an afterthought. Maybe they had already made the movie as is first, and then they're like, oh, well, let's see if we can get the licenses to other game characters and whatnot, and then put them in later.
Well, I think it was. I think
That's.
I think it was easy for Disney to get licenses for some of these games because Disney has worked with these companies, for years, for the last 20 years at least.
But as I said, like it felt like the other games were more of an afterthought, and that we're pretty much. I feel we're pretty much in Wreck-It Ralph, and in Fix It Felix Jr. and in Sugar Rush.
Yeah, those are the 2 main areas. We're like in Tapper for a bit, we're in Pac-Man for a bit, and then we're in Heroes Duty for like a scene. But
To me, it felt like a missed opportunity. That's all.
yeah,
Like I said, everything else about this movie works brilliantly.
Yes.
like I said, my #1 Disney film of the year. I fully endorse it. I commend everyone who is a gamer, or even if you're not a gamer, like me, like you're a casual gamer or old school gamer, definitely go see this film. It is so worth it.
And in 3D if you can.
And even if you do see it in 2D, it's still awesome because it's about video games. If you're a gamer like me, you're going to enjoy it. You also enjoy the little subtle references as well. And I do request multiple viewings just so you can see like all the little
Yeah, there's like
characters and
graffiti and
Yeah, little Easter eggs.
Yeah. So yeah.
all that good stuff.
Yeah. Alright, before we wrap this up, a little announcement. Because of the hurricane, causing pretty much 75% of the state to black out, we probably won't be able to do this again for a while. If only because we need to save on gas, we need to save on electricity and everything. So, just for the month of November, because there are some pretty good movies coming out in November, we're gonna try to do this in a form of a podcast. This is only temporary to see if it works, and just so we can keep this up. As part of what we want to do in terms of watching movies. So keep up the habit. But yeah, just giving you a heads up of what we like to do, and hopefully you'll enjoy it just as much as us.
I would also like to put in a bit of a disclaimer. To anyone who thinks that we are plagiarizing on any of the other reviewers on the internet, the first thing is we went to where we're reviewing where we are more by convenience. We're not trying to do it the way any other reviewer would do it. It's all we can find.
Yeah, we did it in the car just because, like I said, these two live an hour away from this location. I live 10 minutes away, but I live with my parents, and they go to bed at normal hours. Not like us, where it's like, what, 1 in the morning right now?
Yeah, I think so.
So honestly, we don't have a real location, and the place that we're living in now, there's no real like place to hang out where they would allow us. I mean, thank you, White Castle people, for actually letting us film in here.
Yes.
I guess because they're 24 hours and there's no one here right now, so that's why they're not letting us film. But yeah, our location was purely based on convenience. All right, we weren't trying to mimic anyone, and heck. Up until recently, I didn't even know that other people filmed in their cars. I thought they were all just in their living rooms or in front of their computers. So, like I said, this was my decision.
Yeah.
I wasn't intending to copy anyone, so I apologize if I offended anyone. But the point of the matter is, we film where it is convenient for us and when it is convenient for us. And in fact, right now, like, this is probably gonna be like the last time we'll be able to get together for a while.
Yeah.
If only because, again, we live so far apart, we can't meet up that often, so we do what we can.
Yeah.
But
And also, we have a ration on gas.
yeah.
At the moment, anyway.
It's like the 70s all over again. That's beside the point.
But yeah, so
But, yeah.
but we will continue to do vlogs because we love movies. We all have our different takes on it. We love discussing them. And we love just pretty much just doing this, just sharing our thoughts with everyone. Feel free to agree, feel to disagree, but this is what we like doing, and we're going to continue doing it.
Yes, we are.
All right. So, like I said, if you have any major gripe, leave us some comments, send us a message, whatever. We'll address it. But this is what we're doing right now, and we're happy with it. All right. So, for upcoming movies, I believe one of you suggested Lincoln.
Actually, for the month I was suggesting Skyfall for next week.
Okay.
And then probably we'll do Lincoln. Then we are not doing Twilight.
No. No.
Staying far away.
Everybody else, you guys can do Twilight. We're not.
Yeah. You more professional reviewers who have the guts to actually sit through all that bull crap. You go do it. We're not wasting our money.
We'll go see Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
I don't drink, so there's no coping mechanism for me.
Exactly. But the point is, we do got some movies lined up that we plan to do, so, stay tuned, and, we will release it gradually as we can afford to see it. Alright, in the meantime, though, I'm Patsy Craig.
I'm a Y2 Scholar.
And I'm one Sat Morn.
And we are Crazy Crew, doing our Crazy Crew vlog of Wreck-It Ralph the movie in the afterwave of Hurricane Sandy. We wish luck to everyone who hasn't gotten power yet, and we sympathize greatly with those who have lost, either a house or a property, or God forbid a loved one. We sympathize with you. Everyone, please donate to the Hurricane Sandy Fund. I know it doesn't seem much compared to Hurricane Katrina or the tsunami or anything, but there are
It
a lot
came
of people.
hard and fast,
Yeah.
and we apparently were not prepared for it.
Yeah, and I know some people who are legitimately suffering right now, so donate if you can, and best of luck to everyone who is coping right now in the wake of the disaster. All right? Okay. Take care, everyone.
Best of luck. Game over.